Is God logic, or is God the creator of logic? Philosophers say God is logic. Kabbalists say God created logic. It sounds almost the same, but it's a difference of night and day, if you break it down. Now, why did Hashem create the world? What does Hashem have in the world? Is it possible to say that we can give something to God? Or to quote Rabbi Manis Friedman, does God need us? This is an argument between the Kabbalists and the philosophers, between the Chachamim and the Mekubalim. The philosophers say impossible. To say that Hashem needs us is stupid. Not heretical, stupid. He's perfect. So when the philosophers ask the question, why did Hashem create the world? And their answer is always the same, for us. But we didn't exist. Why should he care about us? Teva, Tev, Lehetiv. Chafetz, Chesed, too. All the philosophers fall back on that. Hashem created the world. The only entities who benefit by coming into being is us. To him it makes diddly squat, makes zero difference whatsoever. The only reason he did it is because he has a teva of kindness. So he created entities and he gave them the free will to possibly earn something or possibly self-destruct. The Mekubalim disagree. And the source of that Mekubalim position is therefore the Sakaidish, the same Rabbi Ben Gabbai, who beats up on the Rambam on every page and is brought in the Maimonim in his name. Avoida tzaydak kavaya, period. The work that we do is needed by God. That's the phrase. Avoida tzaydak, the work we do is needed by Hashem. Gavaya means heaven, which basically means Atzilus. So the Rambam's statement is avoida tzaydak kavaya, question mark. Are you nuts? It's all for us. The Mekubalim's avoida tzaydak kavaya, period. Hashem needs our mitzvahs and our Torah. Now the shayla is, what does Gavaya mean? So in Kabbalah it means only Atzilus. In Chassidus the Rebbe brings also higher than Atzilus. Birurim, in the Sichas of the Rebbe, where the Rebbe says Gavaya goes till Atzmos. But the meaning of the word Gavaya is, however you're going to spin it and slice it, is that the Eibush created the world for himself. We can argue about the meaning of the word need and want, but that's it. According to Kabbalah, the life we live serves Hashem also. So now listen to this. The Rebbe quotes an idea brought in philosophy, but he argues against it because he's not a philosopher, he's a mystic. Why does the Eibush need to make a covenant? Why does he make a pact with us that I'll never break it, that the Noach's covenant is for Teva, Avram Avinu's covenant is for Teinu Mitzvahs, and Meshach's covenant for Teda, for Tshuva? Why do you need a covenant? What's wrong with Hashem saying, I'll give you my word? And the answer is because even though the creation is created because of Hashem's kindness, but the idea that the world was created by Hashem's kindness isn't logical. Right here, what you've got is a synthesis of a philosophical idea and a mystical idea. Who says the reason for creation is that Hashem wants to be kind? The Chaykirim. We got other reasons. Begin the Yishtameidim Be, the Gal Shemes Kecheisav, Dede Betachtoinim, Yechudim, Avedes Abirorim, Tshuva, Nisyonis. There's a lot of, Kabbalah's got a lot of reasons. Who gives the reason that the Eibush created the world to be kind, fundamentally? The philosophers. Now it's a medrash, don't misunderstand. It goes back before philosophy and mysticism was even an itch. It's a medrash, it goes back to the Chazal. But who uses the argument that the way to explain what Hashem did, that Hashem is kind? Philosophers, because philosophers have a problem. They cannot accept that anything we do matters to Him. And therefore they have to say it's all for us. If it's all for us, why did He make us? And that's because He's kind. So if this is a philosophical principle, it has to be a logical principle. So the Rebbe uses the philosophical principle of Yechafetz Chazatu, which is a logical principle, and then sprinkles in Kabbalah and says, but I want you to know, this principle doesn't stand on logic alone. Because logic breaks down at some point. And yeah, it's true Hashem is kind. But it isn't true that Hashem's kindness makes sense. So if Hashem is kind, He made the world because He's a nice guy. Hashem made the world because He's kind. Chafetz Chesed, Hashem is desired to be kind. That's why He made the world. So l'cha'oira, if He made the world because He's kind, and He gives you His word, I give you my word of honor, I'll never destroy the world again. I made a purified world after the Mabel, I'll never destroy the world again. Hashem broke the barrier between heaven and earth. He gave us the Torah is forever. All the wonderful things Hashem, all the three things that Hashem gave us His word. Why does He have to make a covenant? And the answer is, Because even though the reason he made it is because he wants to be kind, but his kindness is not a logical principle. As the philosophers want you to hold, it's a superlogical principle, as the mystics teach. And therefore, if the situation changes, the word goes away, unless he promises. But that's what's going on here. The Rebbe has a kasha. Why does he have to make a krisis bris? What's enough that he gives us his word? And the answer is because Chafetz Chesed 2 isn't logic. The problem with that is the people who say Chafetz Chesed believed in God being logic. So the Rebbe is using their argument in his way. Hashem created the world to be kind, but the kindness of the Eibishter is not truly logical, as the philosophers want you to say. The kindness of the Eibishter is a choice, because Hashem is above logic, and above logic there's no rules. So if his kindness is a choice, he can choose different. And that's why he has to make a covenant.